Yay! There she is! Oh my God!
I cried. Oh my God.
It's okay.
Mm.
It is okay. Life happens. Technology happens.
I don't know technology like I'm learning.
It's okay. It is an honor to have you finally. Look, everybody is starting to come in now. For a minute, we had some people in, but they left. So hopefully they'll come back. Robert E. Day. Hey, okay, yes, they are coming in. Yes, Ashe. So we're gonna let a few more people roll in, and then we can start. How are you?
Ooh. I'm just riding the waves. I'm good.
Yes, yes. You're beautiful. You look beautiful. I love that. Every time I see you, you're just so adorned, you know?
You are beautiful, too.
Oh, thank you, honey. Okay, so I have typed up some questions on the iPad, and so I am going to just get started. So first of all, can you introduce yourself, how you would introduce yourself to anybody? Just who is Isis Brant?
Yes. Okay. So I am a proud descendant of political prisoners in America, best known as slaves. I'm a mother of 5 beautiful, very successful children. I am an advocate for social change and social justice, and I'm an activist for women and children on the planet. Divine feminine.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay, so we're going to kind of just jump straight in because I have a couple of questions. And for everybody in the comment section, if you have anybody tuned in, if you have any questions for this amazing sister, please put your questions. You can send it either through the question box or in the comments, and I will definitely look at it and join. And just for record, even if you haven't been able to make the live, I am going to post it on my YouTube channel as well. So, but yes, so you have told us who you are. So yeah, we're going to jump right into your story if you don't mind.
I don't.
Okay. How did it start?
It started with me in 1980, right after I dropped out of college at North Texas State University. I saw the injustices and I saw the gross unfairness that was given to Black women on the campus. We weren't allowed to do anything with natural hair. And so the guy that I was with, who I eventually married, was telling me that my gift was bigger than the college scene. And I'm like, I go to college. I have to get an education. He was like,
right.
You have to heal people. And so I started doing natural hair on the campus because people were really frustrated with their hair. And from there, I went with him around the country pretty much and was doing acting on stage because that's what I was in school for, was theater. And we started acting scenes on stage, emulating Cleopatra, King Tut, and we would dress up in these beautiful costumes, and we would celebrate our existence on stage for different political, I guess you would call them, events and conferences.
Okay.
And that's really how I got started. We performed for Dr. Yosef bin Yakanan. We performed for so many people.
Wow.
And we would just, share our stories with people about us being great, us wearing a crown, us being Africans, us being agricultures, us being scientists, mathematicians. We would just let people know that the beauty is within us, and we have been given all of the gifts from God to make sure that we acknowledge our civilizations, our true identity. And so he was a Black Panther, so he was very, very educated, and he opened up my third eye. He helped me to
Wow.
importance of celebrating and owning our culture. So it started there, and then we got real ghetto with everything. We started going through the community because I am from the community. I'm from South Dallas, in Dallas, right across the street from the tracks. Everybody know about Bunton. That's where
Okay.
I was raised, and we would go back and do little shows and little creative things for the children. I would do like hair shows. I can't believe during that time I was going into different salons, and they were allowing us to do like really little snippets of African culture, and we would do little snippets of African culture. Like I remember one scene that we did. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen, and that was
Hmm.
really a beautiful eye opener for people. And I used to perform a lot, Motherless Child, and if you remember that, by Langston Hughes. Don't sit on the ground, or don't sit on the floor because you find it kind of hard, because life for me ain't been no crystal stair, that one. And then we would
Oh, wow.
go into other schools and educate our people with natural hair. We also, like I said, got a little ghetto with it, and he opened up a little apartment in East Dallas where I set up a chair and I actually started touching people's hair. This wasn't a salon or anything. I would bring the kids in, and then I would adorn them and make them feel beautiful about themselves. And then finally, we took it to a building, and we got
Okay.
a shop. Yeah, and so it was just a lot of fun for me because I like making people smile, and I love to see the smiles on their faces when their hair was adorned.
Absolutely. Wow. Wow. So y'all finally got the building. You
Yeah.
got a building, and in the building, you were doing your acting and you started doing hair?
Well, in the building, I was doing hair because I realized that people wanted to have their hair done. And during that time, I was running into a lot of people that were not allowed to have their hairstyles on their jobs, or they couldn't wear them to work, and they couldn't go to school. They couldn't be cheerleaders. They couldn't be in any auxiliaries.
I understand. Mm-hmm.
So I would just let them know that, you have the power to create whatever you would like. If you want the job, keep the job and do what's necessary to keep the job. If you don't want the job, wear your locks, wear your braids.
Right.
And it was very revolutionary. And the movement was very strong during that time. And that was 1980, 81,
Okay.
82.
Okay.
Long before the state of Texas even knew about Isis Brantley. I was
Okay.
bringing love and bringing the culture to our people in our communities.
I love that. I love that. Okay, and so you started working at the job and you were making money, and because of the love energy that you were putting into these clients, you had more and more clients coming, I'm sure.
Mhm. That the industry was so underdeveloped at the time. I started getting the name from other look salons and beauty schools in the community as the Queen of Braids, because in the beauty schools they didn't know what I was doing and how
Ah,
I wanted. So they thought, this is where you needed to go if you wanted box braids, or if you wanted long braids, if you wanted individual braids, if you wanted cornrows, you should go see Miss Isis. And these were the same group of schools that actually took my name to the state of Texas. They exalted me, and then they brought me down to the level of humility. So they are the ones that went after 10 years. So from 82 until 1995. I was in the newspapers. I was being interviewed. I was in Shop Talk magazine. I don't know if you remember that magazine, but it's an old magazine that was out during the time, during the 80s. And
okay.
I was just given a platform to really be free, to be
And
me,
express yourself,
and
right?
to express myself, absolutely. And then after 10 years of that, and people getting to know my name and getting to know where I was and what I could do for them. And I was also pulling young women off the streets. These were mothers that were like on the streets at night, trying to figure out how to, get some food on the table, how to feed their children. And I would pull them into the salon and say, look, this is what I'm doing. You're making money braiding hair, because I was one of them. When I
Right.
started having children in 84, I too was trying to figure out, do I get on welfare? Do I stay with the food stamps? And I created a whole program called Welfare to Work, because I wanted people to understand that even though it was illegal, because we all were afraid of braiding during the time in our homes. And after I had the salon, then I went into my home. That's when I first got my first house, and I set up salon in my home. And I was there from 90 all the way to 95 until, I got my first slip that from the state of Texas saying that they were watching me. That was the first ever. But we all were afraid to be braiding in our homes because we knew that the police could come anytime and give us a fine. So I was pulling these ladies off the streets and saying, you got to keep it, quiet. You got to keep it under wraps. You can't be telling everybody. So if you can remember, I don't know if this was going on in your city or not, but most women would say, I can braid your hair, but don't tell nobody I did it.
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah.
was the thing that we did. And so many of them, the women would get upset because maybe they wanted more braids, or maybe they wanted a cheaper style, and they would go and take their names to the state of Texas,
Wow.
get in trouble. But from there, I got my storefront in 1995, and I was there for maybe a couple of years. And then finally, when in 95, I was told, oh, you're violating the laws of Texas. You can't braid. You can't have a storefront. I said, but I'm legal. The storefront, I have my LLC. I have my license for opening up the shop and everything. So I was totally legal, but I didn't know that I was illegal at the same time, that I was doing
Mhm.
something against the state of Texas. And in 95, I got the letter, and it said, you can't do braiding in that shop unless you come and spend 1,500 hours with us in the beauty salon. I mean, beauty schools.
Cosmetology school, right? Mhm.
And but I'm not a cosmetologist. I don't use, sharp instruments. I'm not cutting hair. I'm not relaxing hair. I'm not doing any of that. What I'm doing is culturally related. It's my ancestors that I am giving paying homage to. And so they was like, no, we've never heard of anything like that. You are, violating our laws. And if you don't stop, something, we're going to take action against you. And so we tried, it was a group of us, with so many of my students that I had trained and gotten off the streets, and they became locticians and braiders under me, and then they got their own places. They all came down to the state of Texas in Austin. We all went to Austin, and we talked before the board. And the board was all lily white people. Nobody really had natural hair. No one even knew what we were talking about. And one by one, they allowed us to speak and to let them know that we didn't think that it was right for them to stop us from braiding hair. And they didn't care about that. They did a moratorium from 95 to 2000, 1997, for 2 years. So once the moratorium lifted, they said, well, we did a count of people that voted for you to still do natural hair in Texas. And because you didn't vote, we didn't count your vote. So we didn't count your vote, so you didn't win. So you can't do natural hair anymore. And
And that
doing that, Yeah, you can't do natural hair anymore. But at that time, they were grandfathering a lot of the white girls that were at the Bob Marley festivals, that were out at these different festivals, braiding and wrapping with yarn. They grandfathered them. But
Mm,
they told us that we weren't allowed to be grandfathered because we all were violating the laws in Texas as far as cosmetology was concerned. During that time in 94 and 95, I had taken Joanne Cornwell's class for sister locks. And a lot of the people in Dallas that were getting certified by her, I went all the way to San Diego, California, and got my certification, came back to Dallas. Of course, I was still courageous enough to still practice what I knew was right in my heart in my salon. But a lot of the ladies that paid all that money were told that they couldn't do sister locks in Texas because it was a violation of the cosmetology laws, and that they needed to learn how to braid before they could actually practice their art of sister locks, which was crazy. So a lot of the young people stood up, they fought back, they told they wrote to the different schools. They let them know that, you can't have a white person trying to teach locks, twists, and braids because these are white people.
exactly.
They don't grow curly hair. And
Right.
so got a lot of backlash from that. But I, at the same time, was still certifying, doing in 1995 all the way through my court case. In 97, I was still certifying people. They were coming to learn and getting their certification and going on to do their work. It was really bad. Women all over Texas were being fined thousands of dollars for braiding in their houses. Even the sister lock practitioners went to their houses, and they too had to be undercover because they knew that it was against the law to do any type of cultural hairstyles in Texas. So it just went on and on. And then after I didn't comply with them and I didn't stop doing natural hair, one day in 97, unknowing to me, because I thought, well, we're still talking about it. We're still, creating a sacred space where we can discuss with these European people what we do as African melanated people. And all of a sudden, one day, I go to the shop, and two undercover cops came into the shop, and they pretended. And I was doing a reporter's hair, and then I had two other clients in the chair. I was really bad during that time. I could bring three, four, five people at one time. And
Wow.
yes, and they would sit and wait for their hair to be adorned because most of them didn't like going to the Africans because they felt like the Africans were aggressive and they were braiding their hair way too tight. So, I had the upper hand with that, but I was busy that day. And then the two ladies came in, and one lady just posted on my mantle, just, kind of leaned over. And I should have watched the body language. But, me, I'm not thinking about
Hmm.
Texas. I'm not thinking about that letter. I'm not thinking about any of that. I'm just there to serve my people. And the other lady was asking me if I could put her on the schedule to do her hair. And I told her, yes, that's fine. I can, but I'm busy, as you see, and you would have to set an appointment. So when I went to get my appointment book, she pulled her badge out and said, Isis, you do my sister's hair. I really love you, but I'm telling you, you are going to jail for braiding hair. And I
Wow.
said, you got to be kidding me. Just like that. I was like, that's impossible. She said, no, Isis, I'm serious. And while she was talking to me, five other white people in uniforms, in police uniforms, come in aggressively with their hands on their guns and standing all cocky, and they was looking like, yeah, you're going to jail. And I'm like, whoa, can I call my children? I was like, oh my God, what's about to happen to me? And she said, yeah, we'll let you call your children. And I had my head wrapped like this, and she said, Isis, you're going to have to take your head wrap off. She said, I need you to comply. I need you to do exactly what the officers ask you to do. I said, I'm going to jail for real? She said, yeah, you're going to jail. And by that time, they were handcuffing me. The salon was outraged. They took me outside. The community was all watching because they saw all the 5 cars there. They're like, what is going on at Miss Isis's shop? And
Right.
they were very upset. And so they put me in the car and took me to Lusterix. And yeah, they fingerprinted me, they strip searched me, and they put me in a jail cell.
And how long were you in
Yeah,
there?
I was a day, a day,
Oh, good. Okay.
way too long for me to be
Right.
in there. I didn't understand why I was there, and I kept asking one person. I kept asking the whole time I was there. Can you tell me why I'm in here? Can you tell me what my crime is? What did I do? And he said, I'm going to check for you. So he kept checking for me and checking for me all the way to the next day. And he went and checked this last time and said, they really don't have anything on paper for why you are here. He said, and somebody is bailing you out. So someone got me out, and it was my client who was a lawyer,
Oh,
and
wow.
she had heard what happened, and she became my lawyer for my case for the first 10 years. It was really sad. So when I got out, they had put an injunction on my building. I couldn't go back to work. Me and my 5 babies didn't have nowhere to go. We became homeless. The community rallied around, and this nice person in the community who I had been doing his wife's hair for years, he said, I will allow you and your children to come to my house. And I'm like, oh
Oh,
my.
wow.
And so we went, and he allowed me to start back doing, because my clients were still, that's what I like about Black people, no amount of iniquities, no amount of wickedness, no amount of injustice ever seemed to stop our ancestors. And we are our ancestors. It never seemed to stop us. So they were still asking to come and have their hair done, of course. So I was able to do that. And then after my lawyer got some things taken care of, I was able to go back to the building. What was so striking about this whole incident was Coma Cottrell. He was the founder of Proline Products. I don't know if,
I'm familiar with that. Hmm.
and he was the chairperson for the state of Texas.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He is the one that signed the paperwork for me to go to jail. And his wife had been a client for like 10 years. And he basically told her that she wouldn't get any of his, money, nothing from the company once it was sold if he came back to my shop. And all of the beauty schools in Texas, the renowned beauty school, MJ Beauty College, Velma B's Beauty College. It was a lot of them, right? They would have a picture of me in handcuffs on the walls for their students to see, and they would tell their students, stay away from this lady, because if you go into her shop, you will be going to jail just like her.
Wow.
Really interesting because a couple of my students went to beauty school to learn how to alter natural hair, and they saw the picture and they were upset. I think they even quit that school. They were upset and said, why are you telling people that she did something bad? She just stood up for natural hair. She stood up for her culture, and why are you telling us that this is a bad person? But it was really a lot of conspiracy going on, a lot of politics in Dallas at that time, and I just didn't give up. I just didn't stop.
And that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, you went through this over a period of 20 years, correct?
Correct.
You didn't give up. And I mean, being homeless with your children, all of those things, like, what kept you going?
I like I said, I'm a proud descendant of slaves in America, and I know that everything is against us. And I kept searching my heart for truth. and my heart kept saying, you did nothing wrong. And my spirit kept saying, you did nothing wrong. Just stand on truth and everything will be okay. I know that it took a long time for our people to be free, from the fields. And I know that we are an extension of all of that atrocity and inhumane activity that took place on this planet, on the soil. And so I kept saying, as a black woman, a black woman, black children, black business owner, I can't stop because I didn't do anything wrong. If they can show me where I have truly committed a crime, then I would have felt that maybe I should have complied. But what kept me going was I felt that I hadn't harmed anybody. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't, I didn't break any laws. I wasn't a criminal. And so that's what helped me to realize that I hadn't done anything wrong. And I just stood on that. I'm a person, an advocate for justice. And I just was like, you got to show me. If you can prove to me that I'm in violation of my culture, then okay. But they never could prove it. The first 10 years, I had a full-fledged trial. This is a trial with jurors and everything. I was found guilty by these people that didn't look like me in trial because they said that what I was doing was the same thing as a barber. So the first 10 years I fought, they said what I was doing was a cosmetologist program. And then when they finally realized that there was nobody else in the state of Texas that could teach me ancestral braiding, they dropped that case and they grandfathered me in. But they said, you can't teach anybody because now you have to become a barber and you have to get a barbering um, training license, they call it, instructor license. And you have to learn how to cut hair. And I said, but I'm not a barber. I'm
Right.
an ancestral braider. Those are two different things. And these people that really create this white supremacy on this planet, that this white privilege dogma they have, they don't understand the difference. And I had to tell them the difference. So the first 10 years, they grandfathered me, but they made everybody else take 35 hours to become braiders and to allow them to do sister locks or any other natural hairstyle. After that, they told me that I couldn't teach, but I told them that I've been teaching. I mean, I didn't just start teaching today. I've been teaching for the last 10 years. And 10 years
Right.
later, you tell me that I can't teach. So I had to get another lawyer. So I
Oh,
had a lawyer for the first 10 years and got grandfathered in. And then the second set of that decade, I had to fight for the right to teach the next generation ancestral braiding. And I got the Institute for Justice on my side. I didn't even go looking for them. I was down advocating for myself in Austin. And this guy walked up to me. I think he's Indian. And he said, hi, you're Isis, right? I said, yes. He said, I heard about your story. I would like to talk to you more. And basically, I went down to his office and he was telling me, we want to represent you. And they're the
wow.
represented me for the last 10 years. They're Republicans, but they don't like any regulations. So they are all about deregulations. And they thought it was a good case. It made them millions of dollars.
Wow.
Dollars. I didn't get a brown cent of it. I got nothing. Only after the 10 years in 2015, the red tape was cut. And then Black people were free to be entrepreneurs and to braid in their houses and to braid outside on their porches and to go into the community and be at these different big, huge, cultural events braiding hair.
Braiding. And so the people in Texas definitely benefit off of a law that was actually created in your name. What's the name of the law?
Bill Isis Brantley law is Isis Brantley Bill 2717. ISIS Brantley Bill 2717. Yeah, everybody is benefiting from it right now. Everybody is working. People are happy. They're getting trained by different people. They're opening up schools, academies, and I'm so happy for them. I'm happy for them. It's one thing that I don't like that happens to our people is when we're subjugated to so much injustice in this country. We built this country. We nurse this country. We nurse the other families of this country. People are benefiting off of us. All people, every race of people that you can think of is benefiting economically off of our hard work, and we get nothing for it. That's the only that I wanted to see happen was the state of Texas put my pieces back together. But my lawyer said, well, we're going to set you free and this is going to be all over, but you have to promise not to sue the state of Texas.
Oh, wow.
I said, okay, like we always do. Yeah, I was tired of fighting. I was tired of, my hands being tied and looking over my shoulders. I was just tired. And so I said, okay. So I think really what is most important is that we as a people, now that we're benefiting from a law that took 20 years to change in the state of Texas around the beauty industry, which is a multi-trillion-dollar industry, I think if we all pull together and work together and not be like that slave that our grandparents and great grandparents had to breed into us, because we were, slavery was the part. They didn't get ships anymore
Yeah.
after, the latter part of the 1800s, early part of the 1900s. They made the Black woman breed ignorance into every child that was born.
Mm.
So it kept slavery going because she was the breeder and she was the one that bred all of the ignorance and the mentality of just working for free for this country into that generation and generation and generation that came. And we do the same thing. We work for pennies, because we feel like we just have to have something. We fight each other. Not one person that I know that has been freed in the state of Texas, as it relates to ancestral braiding or twisting or locking or natural hair, has ever come and say, you know what, sister, I'm going to send you $5 a month because I appreciate you opening
What-
up the door and
Right.
it. Yeah, not one. So we don't think like that. We're not thinking to build community. We're not thinking to connect with women. This is the woman's time to be on a higher platform. It is time for us to elevate this woman, to bring that love back into our community. And only through the mother, the divine feminine, can we do that. And I see a lot of women wanting to compete with me rather than cooperate with me. Like, I appreciate what you're doing to bring this to the platform. People don't know when you are in prison, and I feel like 20 years was a state of imprisonment
I mean, you
from,
were homeless. You were homeless with
yeah,
5 children. Like, you
yeah,
didn't have to be behind bars to feel captured. So, yeah.
exactly. And that's what we don't understand. They let you out and then they put those chains on your feet.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
you have no freedom of movement. And that's what Black people have to understand. Now that we are not shackled visibly, the shackles are mental.
Yeah.
And we've got to, like Marcus Garvey said, we have to take the shackles off our brain. We have to take the kinks out of our subconscious mind. We have to forgive ourselves for everything that has happened and forgive the wickedness of it all, because now we are here to bring love back to the planet. It's time for us
That's,
to do
yeah.
more.
Ab-
It's more about doing for ourselves than
mhm.
anybody else. There's no comparison. We've made everybody rich. We put the crown on everyone. Everyone treats us unfairly. When we go and buy the hair in the stores, the beauty supplies, we get treated like slaves. Everybody treats us like slaves. In the restaurants, we're treated like slaves. On our jobs, we're treated like slaves. In the schools, we're treated like slaves. In the universities, slaves. That's how they see us. Nothing more.
But I see that, and I acknowledge what you're saying, and sometimes I wonder, is it because we still tend to see ourselves that way?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
Fighting each other. We're just like, we're in that ring. Like they used to always put us against each other. You two fight and don't stop fighting until you kill somebody. Don't stop fighting until somebody is not breathing anymore.
right.
That's what we're doing. We feel as though we are slaves as well. And even if we're not feeling like it, we're acting like it. We're moving like it. We're talking like it. We're living like it. And it's time for us to break those shackles.
Yeah, I think you are slowly starting the process. So can you tell us about your school?
Yes, I have a Healing Through the Hair institution. It's a priesthood school. So a lot of times when people come, they're looking for an Ogle or a Tony and Guy or Armstrong McCall, or they may be looking for a Mary Kay. But what they find is roots. Nothing but roots. And the roots that I share with our people are deeply bedded into our culture, our African identity. So I take people through a process of understanding, cleansing the ori, understanding that when we talk about sanitation on a European, from a European perspective, we're talking about being clean. But when we talk about sanitation on an African perspective, we're talking about cleansing our minds, our heads. When we think about our crown, we think about everything that's connected to our third eye, the crown chakra, and everything in the back of our heads, which is our ancestors that live in the back. Those 200 forces that live in the back of our heads that's watching us. So I take them through a whole process of understanding how to cleanse one's ori or cleanse one's head. So if someone comes in and they have dandruff and they are one of the clients, we take them through a whole detoxing ritual where we cleanse away all of the dis-ease and the discomfort on the scalp. So one of the things that I want people to understand in the school, sanitation is important, but it starts with you. If you have a clean head and your ori is in alignment with cleanliness, because cleanliness is next to godliness, you know that you are connecting to a higher spirit when you are clean. So when your head is clean and you're doing different types of cleansing ceremonies or rituals in the school for your clients, it's important because then it puts them in a better state of mind, and it makes them understand that their hair is sacred. The Africans believe, and this is taught in the school too, the Africans believe that God lives in our hair. And the reason why black hair is the most hated on the planet is because it carries the spirit of God.
Yeah.
And the energy of our hair has a language of its own. Nobody has to say anything. You see a biracial baby with box braids, then you know that's a language that's being spoken from ancient, from antique,
Mm.
from civilizations that you cannot even visit, not even in your dream. This is our gift to humanity. This is what we've given back to humanity. Make sure that the area is very sanitized. We didn't need COVID for that. I've been teaching cleanliness in my salon and in my school for the last 30 years. So that,
Wow.
and then the other thing is understanding how to handle black hair with love. So we throw away the comb. When we are working with children, we don't give them a comb experience at first, if at all, because that's what was used to enslave us. The European comb, which made trillions of dollars, that skinny comb they call
The
that
red tail.
rat tail comb, hung from the southern doors of every southern church in America, just like the paper sack test. The comb test was performed on us as well. If your hair
Wait,
gets
wait. Because I've heard you say this before. I need you to repeat that again about the trees and the comb. Can you repeat that again?
so in the southern churches of America, the rat tail comb hung from the front door of the church. If your hair could not pass freely through the comb, you were denied membership of that church. That happened in America. Knowledge is power. We don't really know the history of the enslavement of black hair in America. Just like the paper sack test, if your skin was darker than the paper sack, then you were not
I
permitted
love.
to be, yeah, you weren't allowed to be a member of that church. So I teach the culture because it's important for us to understand. We just didn't wake up out of our mother's wombs hating our hair. This was a war against our hair. America has waged war against black hair. And that's what we're trying to make our people understand, that it's important that you teach your child to love their hair. Even the children that are going natural, it's still frustrating because there's never been anything for us to use to moisturize or to navigate through our curls properly. So we had during the times that our forefathers were trying to figure this whole thing out. It was against the law to look in the mirror in America if you were black. It was against the law to shampoo your hair in America if you were black. And our forefathers figured out a way to use, especially the ones that were the house Negroes or the house slaves, they used the leftover dishwater liquid to condition their hair, and then they put their rags back on. So this is history. This is history, and nobody in those cosmetology schools are teaching us Black history. Let me know about why it is important for you to feel that white hair is superior, straight hair is superior. Why is that? Because somebody said that. Somebody made it their business to create products that call kink killer in America. There is a product called Kink Killer. There's a
Mm.
product really famous called the Curl I Cure. There was a product called KKK, Knock Kinks Crazy. These were
What?
America. These were you can look it up. These were
Oh, I believe you.
you,
I'm just
you
shocked.
go. There was a coupon called the Nigga Hair Coupon, and you would cash this coupon in to get your hair altered or straightened or to look like Farrah Fawcett's or to look like any of those white images of other people that are not melanated. So these are things that Willie Morrow talks about in his book, 400 Years Without a Comb. And I think it's important that we sit down with our children and read them the book or go and get the video. I used to show the video in my school years ago. I don't show the video now, but we talk about these very things so that we can understand why there's a war against our hair and why it's important for us to understand why our spirals are the way that they are. Our hair spirals like our own DNA. It spirals like everything in the universe. It's something that's superior to every other hair on the planet. And there are only 3 different types of hair on the planet: Caucasian, Asian, and Afro.
Mm-hmm.
Afro is the hair that America said, white privilege America said, oh, my hair can't stand up tall like a tree. My hair doesn't look like a bush. My hair is not melanated and dark. Oh, we have to do something about that. We just can't let them walk around here and our men be looking at them because everybody watches us. Every race of people turn their head when they see beautiful melanated hair. So these are things that bring it to our own crown, and we're honoring our crown because we don't have to hate ourselves because other people hate us.
I love that. Oh, I love that. Yeah. And I think that's the beginning. And even conversations like this and expressing, it all still brings us back to love. And I know that's why they came after you ultimately because your energy expresses love no matter what. And some people just cannot identify with that. They don't want to. And so
They're slaves. And I started to understand this just a few days ago. We're not going to stop women from hating each other, which we should take a stronger look at that. How are we treating our mothers? How are we treating our grandparents? How are we treating the elders? These are
right.
these are younger girls too. Their generation gap is it's weak, and we have to bridge that gap. But that's why love is the only thing that we have, that we've given to everyone, that's going to save this planet, and it's going to last. That's
Yeah.
it. And
It's only love, and that's why we get so many distractions to push us against each other, because the ultimate cure for our issues is love.
I say, we as mothers of civilization, our natural nature, the human's natural nature, is love and
Yes,
kindness.
yes. I've
I,
been getting chills this whole conversation. Like the whole conversation, I've just been getting chills. So you have been so on point. And I know we're a little over an hour, even though I know you had some technical difficulties. I want to ask you, what are you working on now? And first of all, I'm just going to throw this out there. I think just like you spoke about the book, I think it would be so awesome. So I want this to manifest for you. But I think it would be very awesome if someone did a children's book on your story. So if y'all are watching, if y'all know anybody connected with animation and all of that, like your story would be great for children to
yes,
ingest.
I,
And
I,
you know what I mean?
yes, 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 yes. I see myself as a superhero. I'm also looking for people to do costumes for me, and animation is definitely it. But I have a children's book that's coming out in December.
Oh, see? Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and you're right on point. And I have
Okay.
my book, Stolen Crown, which is out
Yes.
now. If America
Oh,
does,
I have it. I didn't bring it in here. I'm sorry, y'all. But yes, I have.
I have it too. But yeah, so go get that book. That's our Bible. We use that in our school and for the classes as well, because there are a lot of good remedies. And it was dedicated to one of my clients who committed suicide because a licensed cosmetologist took her hair
I
out.
saw
So,
some of that.
Brown, true black hair stories 400 years later. And there's
Mhm.
another one of my students who was used to getting her hair blonde all the time. So she would go to the same salon to get her hair blonde and tinted. And this day that she went to the salon to get the blonde chemical put on her hair, she fell dead. So that is something that we
Oh,
need
wow.
talk about. But every time the book is very, very informative. It talks about the sodium hydroxide, what it does when it breaks down the molecular structure of our curl pattern, how we lose the elasticity, and how it creates it. You lose 50 to 100 brain cells every time you use sodium hydroxide on your scalp. So
Mm.
that really informative, and it's beautiful. But I have a children's book coming out in December, and I have my story, another book that's coming out, my story about the state, and the name of it is The State of Texas versus ISIS. So
Oh, wow. Yes.
that's the
Look,
book.
you're gonna solve your case one way or the other. You don't have to sue them to get back. Okay.
Out. We didn't get reparations because they gave reparations to the slavers.
Right.
They had they had insurance on the slaves, and it's like, you're taking my slaves away from me. Oh my God! So they got millions of dollars for every slave that was set free in America. But yes, so I am looking to. I've moved to Atlanta, and I'm looking to do a full feature story on a full length story on my arrest.
Yeah, and a movie too, documentary movie, all of that. I really see that in your future. Like,
I see
yeah,
it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
that. I received that. Thank you.
Hmm. Well, thank you for being on here. And before you go, two things. What is the advice that you tell yourself every day? to keep going forward? And then the second question is, what is the advice that you would give to everybody who is finding a struggle in their life and it seems like you can't fight back? So
Oh my God, I am one of those people too. But I tell myself every day is you are courageous. You are confident. You are powerful. You are empowered. Use the authority and seize the day right now. I remind myself that I am empowered. I have the authority to seize the day right now, no matter what goes on. And for those that are out there struggling with this human condition, you can't get anywhere trying to do it on a human level. Everyone out there must become spiritually elevated. You have to take on a spiritual way of life. And that's what keeps me grounded. Every morning before I pick up the phone, I talk to my Ori, my sacred head, my Godhead, and I tell my God, thank you for waking me this morning and giving me the opportunity to look forward to the chores of another day. Thank you for guiding me and protecting me. Open up doors for me. Open up many, many doors for my children and my grandchildren, and open up the doors for all hearts on the planet. This is what I say every morning. You're never going to see me saying hi to anybody, picking up the phone. I talk to my Ori. We have to shift the consciousness of our own Ori. We have to change our own DNA, and we can only do it by putting the energy out there into the universe. What we speak into existence is what we definitely create every single day.
absolutely.
So it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if one is coming up against you. It doesn't matter if someone cusses you out. It doesn't matter if you have a flat tire like I did on my way to this interview. And
Oh, wow. Okay.
but I say thank you. I give thanks and praise for everything that is not working the way I want it to work, because I always praise God for the things that are working for the way I want it to work. So everything is duality. If you can praise God for the good, you've got to thank God for that is not so good. Because soon as you let go and stop resisting and allow the things that are supposed to happen for your soul's
Evolution.
elevation or ascension, things happen a lot faster for you. But it's when you are mad and angry and you're waking up and you're
It's
frustrated,
grounded.
it's
Yeah, grounded.
more of that is going to come to you. So praise your Ori, praise your head. Your head is your first land. This is the land that they took away. It's not that physical land that you don't have or that you say you
Y'all hear this, right? Say
you
that one more
have
time.
this
No,
land.
no, no.
This
You
is the land,
channel it right now. Come
right.
on. Say
This
that
is the
again.
land. This is the land we need to reclaim. So every morning I talk to my Godhead, and every day I remember that I am walking in my divinity. I remember my purpose. I remember why I'm here. I remember the love. I am so grateful for everything that I've received to this point. I'm grateful for the fight. I'm grateful for the 20 years. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for the haters. I'm grateful for the naysayers. I am grateful for everything. So if you remember to be grateful and to humble yourself, the ancestors got you. The
No
universe
matter.
is working in alignment with you, because we have to remember we're co-creating. You're co-creating your existence. It's not oh, woe is me, because you got to think about the ancestors. 400 years. 400 years. And if they can do it and I am standing on their shoulders, I'm going to do it too. So
You've done something like truly amazing, and yeah, I just thank you for everything that you have done on behalf of everybody who is doing hair, twisting hair in Texas, because I do it myself on my own head sometimes, but sometimes since I broke my shoulder, I have to go get it done. And um, that's because of you, that I can go to a public shop. I can go to a shop and get my hair done And that started in Texas because of you. And I just wanted to acknowledge that. Like, yeah, you are greatly appreciated. I can't wait to just watch. I watch you every day on social media too, but your blossom is just beautiful.
You
Uh-oh. Yeah, your blossom
too.
is beautiful. And so I will continue to watch your journey and watch you grow in any way I can help. Just let me know.
I will. Love you so much.
Thanks. Sister. Bye.
Bye bye.
Okay, peace everyone. Sister Isis is leaving us. I think her screen is kind of frozen, but what a powerful conversation. I just kept getting chills. I kept getting chills. I don't know how y'all were, but I just kept getting chills through the whole conversation because the facts, but the love that she speaks from her spirit is just so profound. And I just really respect what she has done for Texas. And we didn't even get to go into how it has transitioned to other states, because there are other states, like it's over 20 states that are doing, they are peace, but it's over 20 states that are able to do hair without a license. And so I really wanted to see how that connected. And I'm sure we may have other people like Isis who rebelled against the system, but it was just really important that she followed her intuition even when everything was against her. And so I told y'all on Toni Hickman Presents, I want to bring inspiring stories of resilience, spirituality, enlightenment. And so, yeah, thank you, Sister Isis. You can follow her on her page. Yeah, and I'm going to put this on my YouTube, on The Real Toni Hickman. That's my YouTube channel, so you can go and subscribe. I also have the Breatharian interview that I did with Ella Tom. He's a man who hasn't eaten or drank anything in, like, I think 6 or 7 years, but he's been on the breatharian journey for over 20 years, 17 years, something like that. But the wisdom that this man speaks is also on my YouTube channel, and it's not broken up because he was in the elements. And so on Instagram it's kind of broken up, but on YouTube I edited it. So on that note, I love y'all. I thank y'all for tuning in. And next Thursday, I have somebody coming in that has been given 1 year to live. What would you do if you were given 1 year to live? I send love. I send light. I send peace. I send protection. Peace.
When I found out I had a year to live, I went through a range of emotions, right? Uh, so the first time, I was forced to think about my own mortality.